Hello Internet, I am the Hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1024, So-and-So. There is no arc this week because One Piece was featured on the cover of Shonen Jump, and usually, that just leaves like a tiny little so-and-so at the start of the chapter title right there. So without further ado, let's get into the actual chapter itself. So the chapter starts off with Usopp riding on the back of a alligator smile user, and he is just watching as people get knocked out left and right around him. They are fleeing from him, and they're starting to be like, oh my god, what is this? Does this guy have Conqueror's Haki? And Usopp is riding on the back of the alligator and saying, aha, yes, yes, tremble before my mighty power. It is I, the great Captain Usopp. And we learned from Speed, who's taking care of Tama, that it's probably just the residual echoes of Big Mom's Conqueror's Haki. Personally, I think it might also be the result of Kid's Conqueror's Haki, as he is also a conqueror and also clashing with Big Mom right now. Law is also there assisting. I don't think Law has Conqueror's Haki. At this point in the story, I wouldn't be shocked if he did, but I think it's cool that there are characters who can be this high tier without Conqueror's Haki. So the rest of the Straw Hats are communicating with each other via the Wano version of the transponder snail. Forgetting the name off the top of my head, so I'm just going to put it right there. But as they do so, Nami's telling Frankie that, she hasn't heard anything from Luffy since the little message about Momonosuke when he was calling out and saying, like, hey, Luffy's okay, we're going to beat Kaido together. And Frankie even responds with, hey, no news is good news, right? Meanwhile, Brook and Robin are currently running away from the fires that Black Maria created earlier. These same fires are starting to leak up into the floor that Jinbei's in, and it's just a mess. It's more of just the Straw Hats there's so many enemies still left over, not just the Flying Six, not just King and Queen, who Zoro and Sanji are fighting right now, but there's just so many enemies in Kaido's army, even with the big power shift that was caused by, well, Tama's abilities and Chopper's kindness, and even with that, there's still a lot of people to get through before the crew's back together again, and possibly fighting Kaido? I'm gonna look back on these videos someday and be like, wow, either I've been right for a very long time, or I was wrong and just clinging to hope. But either way, I'm still looking forward to that inevitable big fight between Kaido and the rest of the Straw Hat crew, or at least Luffy. Speaking of Kaido fighting someone, we cut back to Kaido versus Yamato, and this is a fight that has been going on for a few chapters. I'm starting to think that my theory about Yamato being bloodied on the ground is not going to come to pass, because she's actually throwing attacks very similar to Kaido's. A good example is she starts off with this attack called Ringing Arrow, and it sends like this bolt of light, or at least energy, towards Kaido, only to have him immediately throw it to the side, and then reply with his own thunderous arrow, which is much more powerful. I think it's interesting that despite her wanting to be Kozuki Oden, a lot of Yamato's attacks are copies of Kaido's. So even though her goal is to become Kozuki Oden and, free Wano and help them out and go out to sea like he did, at least fighting style, she chose to imitate her dad. As the two of them are fighting, though, it finally occurs to Yamato as she tells her dad, you're trying to kill me. And Kaido goes, yeah, you're not a kid anymore. This is a real fight. If you wanna be Kozuki Oden, then you'll die like Kozuki Oden. And he keeps fighting, and we finally get a flashback as to why Yamato is the way she is, or at least what has reaffirmed her belief in Wano as opposed to her father. See, when Yamato was really little, Kaido got a message from his men saying that the Oni princess is on a rampage, and when Kaido went to check on his daughter, he saw her chained up, and there was just a bunch of people on the ground. Kaido looks around and goes, "Did you do this?" And she goes, "I don't know. They just fell over, I guess. Can you unchain me now? I'm Kozuki Oden." And that's how we learn that Yamato has Conqueror's Haki. I'm not shocked, not gonna lie to you. It doesn't come as some huge shock, some big revelation. Big Mom, has Katakuri. I'm sure if Shanks had a kid, he'd have Conqueror's Haki. We know Roger had Conqueror's Haki, and so did Ace. It seems like, at least to one child, Conqueror's Haki is a hereditary trait. I would not be shocked if we found out that Dragon has Conqueror's Haki because Luffy has it. Or, heck, even if Garp has it, I wouldn't be shocked. Garp, used to fight a guy, Don Chinzhao, who had Conqueror's Haki, so it's not totally out of the question, in my opinion. And plus, we need more Marines with Conqueror's Haki. Sengoku can't just be the only one. So, to punish Yamato for the crimes of being Kozuki Oden, Kaido picked up this little 8-year-old and tossed her into a cave, chained up, and told her and all the samurai inside, "Here's a little ball of rice. I know the samurai haven't eaten in a while, so here you go. Here's some swords, you might need those." And then Kaido grabs this giant boulder and he goes, "Okay, as always, if you guys want to join my crew, that'd be really cool. So here's just call me." And of course, Yamato, being the daughter of Kaido, who is the killer of Oden, who is the hero of the samurai, naturally Yamato is terrified. She's waiting for the samurai to come and kill her, and they're all looking at her, and one of them picks up a bowl of rice, puts it down in front of her, and says, "Go ahead and eat. Samurai don't get hungry." One of Wano's greatest traits, one of Wano's biggest things that keeps the world government from just curb stomping them, is the legend of how great their samurai are. And this is another fantastic example. As Yamato's eating the rice, she asks the samurai who gave it to her, "Who are you?" And the samurai responds with, "Oh, I'm nobody special, I'm just an old so-and-so." But as we see them, we don't get like a firm view of their face that's like covered in shadow a little, and we only get like an outline. But judging from the context of last chapter, it's clearly Shimotsuki, who, with the way he looks, is a striking resemblance to Zoro. So again, this could be the origin of Zoro's bloodline. I don't know if Oda's ever going to just flat out say it. He may answer it in a question corner, but I don't know if it's actually going to be said in the manga. It may just be a hyper coincidence, and Zoro's, lineage is always a mystery. We don't know how his family got from Wano to where he is now, but it's definitely confirmed? I don't know how else to say it. But in addition to taking care of this child, they break off her chains for her, and because of Oden's logbook, they actually teach her how to read. She does know how to read a little bit, but as she presented Oden's logbook to them, she let them know that there are some complicated words in here, and she doesn't know, like, the words are too big. So I assume they taught her to read a little bit too, but they basically took care of her during her time in the cave. And as hunger started overtaking her once more, she grew tired, and she told them that, like Oden, she wants Wano to be free. She wants to be free herself. She wants to go out to sea and see the world. And that's when the samurai decide, well, we've lived a good life, and we're not going to be able to wait 20 years for Oden to return or Lady Toki's, prophecy to be unfurled. So you're going to have to do it, kid. And they all grab their swords and they break open the giant boulder blocking the way, and they say, "Good luck, kid. We've lived a good life. It's time for you to live yours." And the last thing of that flashback we hear is Kaido's men telling him that the samurai have escaped. It's safe to assume that Kaido killed them all. That's just they're dead. But this is the push that Yamato needed to train, grow strong, and prepare for the next 20 years until Lady Toki's prophecy came to be. As the flashback comes to an end, she, fully motivated by the memory of the samurai that took care of her, throws another attack at Kaido as he replies with his own. It is Thunder Bagara, not some watered down version. It is full Thunder Bagara from both of them, with a clash of Black Lightning, which is Conqueror's Haki usually in the manga as we see, and the chapter comes to an end there. The question on my mind after this chapter is it because of Yamato's Conqueror's Haki? Is it because of the devil fruit she ate? There seems to be a number of reasons why Kaido wants to, plant her as the Shogun of Wano while he's out and about being a pirate. Because we now know two things. We know, one, Yamato is just slowly getting stronger and stronger in context. Obviously, Yamato is as strong as she is right now, but we're starting to see more context. Powerful devil fruit, Conqueror's Haki, daughter of Kaido, obviously. So the answers to why leave Yamato as Shogun are starting to become obvious. We still don't know exactly why Wano. Why is Wano itself so important to Kaido? Is it just the tactical advantage of the giant waterfalls? Is it because geographically there's so much biodiversity that there's a lot to work with? Is it the factories Orochi set up? It's probably a lot to do with the factories. But why not produce sand there? Why do you have to do that elsewhere? Is it the secret to the poneglyphs? Is it just the material they're made of is so invincible that maybe Kaido wants a suit of armor made of the stuff? It's still a mystery as to why Kaido wants Wano, but I think we're finally starting to get closer to that. I would say maybe in the next chapter or two we'll probably have Momonosuke shooting up from the sky in his dragon form, and it'll be Big Dragon Momo, Luffy, and Yamato versus Kaido. But I still hold out for my little Straw Hat crew versus Kaido. I think that would be cool. But that's just me. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.